Hello friends, today what we will be beginning with is to understand how to become a better listener. Now in the entire schedule, what we will be understanding is what is the model of listening or communication process. We will also be understanding the stages of listening and how to become a better listener over a period of time. I will throw some light and give you a few tips on how to become a better listener and what are the few things we need to consider when you are listening to someone. We will also discuss in details the things that you need to avoid so that you can become an active or a passive listener and the listening quality of yours is being appreciated by the people across you. Now let's understand what exactly is listening. Now listening is not just a practice, it is an art. Not everybody can practice or not everybody can use that art or learn that art correctly. Now just like not everybody is good in drawing, in craft and all of this, similarly listening everybody does, but the right listener is the one who understands what is being spoken, anticipates it and obviously concludes it in a better way. Now, before we begin with that, let us understand what is a process of listening. Now, listening or a communication model process have few important components. Some of those components are the sender who's going to send the message, the receiver who's going to receive the message. There has to be a communication channel which will convert the noise into a message and send it from one person to another. Okay, you also need to understand the concept of encoding and decoding, feedback and non-feedback. Okay, now there is a sender who is supposed to give a message to someone. Now this sender should understand that it is important for him to understand first what message needs to be passed. So if he knows clearly the objective of the message, what message needs to be drafted, he will put it across in a right way and give it across to the receiver. Now when he's sending the message, okay, he basically sends a signal. Now this signal is known as encoding, where you are sending the message that this is what it is. Now when I talk, it goes as a noise to the other person. It is a channel of communication that is converting this noise into the message which has to be spoken. Now, the channel of communication can be anything. It can be a formal message, it can be an informal message communication, an email, a telephone, or maybe a fax, maybe a message. It can be a verbal communication, it can be a non-verbal sign language communication. It can be any form of communication. Once the channel of communication sends the message, the receiver needs to decode the message. Now what generally happens is when I'm doing it in a non-verbal format, which means I'm writing a message, I'm not doing it orally but a written message, most of the time the emojis that we use or the context that we store or that we type or we send across is not interpreted the right way. Okay, so the clarity of the message has to be very clear and the decoding should also happen in the way it is being spoken. So suppose a message is X, it should be interpreted as X and not X square. Okay, so the decoding is done by the listener. Once the listener does the decoding, he needs to revert back to the sender. Now this revert back process is known as a feedback process. Now the feedback is exactly the same process, okay, from a sender to the receiver that we followed. So now the receiver will encode a message, use a channel of communication, send it to the sender. The sender will act as a receiver now. He will decode the message, receive it, understand it, and if required now will again give a feedback or will revert. Now this is a continuous process. It cannot be a one-way process ever, because the minute it becomes a one-way process, it means the person who's receiving is not interested in your messages, is not interested in your listening, and automatically what will happen is he or she will not be able to and will not be very much keen, and so there will be no interest in what you talk and the message will get diluted over a period of time. Now this is how the process exactly goes. So now let's understand what are the steps to become a better listener. The first important step is look the part. Now think about it, think once and for all, just think. You already know what it looks like when you are talking and somebody else is listening, okay? What one goes through. You already know the process, okay? That when the minute you understand if somebody is not listening, oh mera nahi sun raha hai, you understand that immediately. And please make sure that the person opposite to you also is feeling that, is also understanding the minute you don't listen to him, okay? Your body language says that, your eye contact say that, okay? So it is very important to be the part of it. Now for you to be a part of it, you need to have a direct eye contact. Not just the speaker needs to have an eye contact, the listener also needs to have an eye contact. The minute you have an eye contact, your body language has to be open. In a way, you cannot sit with your folded hands. Your folded hands means I'm not listening to you. I don't want to listen to you. You cannot sit with a crooked face. You cannot lean forward and sit saying, oh my God, I'm listening very keenly. You cannot go back upright and say, main aaram se sun rahi hu, You have to be straight. You have to be very, very recipient. You have to be open in your body language. You need to have a smile on your face saying that, yes, I'm listening to you. So eye contact, body language. The next one is you need to keep away your phones, your laptops, your tablets away to make sure you give confidence to the speaker that yes, I am listening to you. Then what you need to do is you need to start taking notes if important. If it's a senior who's talking, very, very important, you start taking notes. It gives an impression to your senior, that he is listening to me. The minute you start taking notes, automatically your brain is active. You are forced to listen. You will not scribble in your book. You will not write ABCD in your book because you're a big kids and big students now. So what will you all do? You all will write exactly what is being spoken. Once you started taking notes, you need to be encouraging. How do you be encouraging? You give a nod. Okay, don't give excessively nods. Okay, just give a little nod. Yes, you're listening. Give a smile that yes, I'm listening to you. Okay, you have to be relaxed. You cannot be in a very lazy situation. You cannot make faces with your lips, with your tongue, with your eyes. You have to be very, very easy. It has to look like that you are really interested in the person, even though you're not at times. So you're forced to listen, but you have to. So that's the first thing. So to become a good listener, first is you have to make your body language correct. You have to feel a part of the process, okay? After that, you listen actively. Now, when you're listening actively, I basically mean listen with all your senses. Active listener, not a passive listener. Passive listeners are जो सुन के अनसुना करते हैं या कुछ कान में पड़ गया तो सुन लिया. Active listeners are who pay attention on both verbal and non-verbal clues. So there are a lot of times when I'm talking to you, there are a lot of things which I will talk to you using my hands, using my eyes, will speak more, Things which are important, my eyes will grow big. Things which are least important, my eyes might grow small. I will just keep talking it. So it is important to understand the verbal and the non-verbal clue, okay? Now, yes, I will tell you how to get active in some time. What you all can do as students, you all can keep posting your questions as and when you all have it. I will address to them in the last 10 minutes of the session. So let me first finish all the entire part which has been scheduled, and then I answer your questions accordingly. Now, how do you become active? Which is okay, I'll just answer that. Now, for you to become active, you need to keep all your senses open. You need to keep your eyes open, which means your eye contact has to be good. Your body language has to be perfect so that the person feels confident after looking at you. You need to keep your ears open so that you need to keep taking your notes. Your analytical brain is a brain जो ज़्यादा दिमाग चलता है. वो brain होता है analytical brain. That brain has to be switched off when you're listening, because the minute your analytical brain becomes active, what happens is you start saying, oh, isko to kuch nahi aata, arey ye to suna hua hai, and your egos come into the picture. You don't feel like going that way. So to be an active listener, what happens is you have to make sure your verbal and your non-verbal positions are correct. Your body language is correct. So how will you make sure that you are actively participating? You will ask yourself, what is he saying? Am I understanding? If not, should I ask a question? If yes, how important it is, okay? How are you feeling? What is the person, when the person is talking something, how is that person feeling? Is he feeling good? Is he feeling bad? Is it an emotional thought that he's sharing, or is it just a conjecture that he's making? So you need to be very clear, and that can only happen when you listen, when you involve yourself completely into somebody to listen. Okay, so you need to say, you need to ask, you need to understand what is he saying, what is he not able to say, but his language, his body language, his hands, his eyes expressions want to say. So there are sometimes, so you with your best friends, आंखें ही बस होती है, उसको देखना ही बस हो जाता है, you understand, oh, what that person means. That is what is active listening. Because when you're looking at a best friend or you're looking at your partner, you're active with all your senses. You keep your eyes, ears, nose, everything open. Plus, you also keep your sensory organs, your brain open. You know, कि oh, अच्छा ये body language है, which means he's not very comfortable with the topic going on, and you try to change the topic. Okay, so you exactly, this is how you become an active listener, and it is very important. That is a stage 2. Now, stage 3 is empathize. I am not saying to sympathize. Sympathize का मतलब होता है आप रो रहे हो तो मैं भी रोऊंगी, आप हंस रहे हो तो मैं भी हंसूंगी. That is not sympathy, which means I also go through the same pain. I'm not asking you to go do that. I'm asking you to do empathy. Empathy basically means I check on what the assumptions are made, okay? I listen without getting any judgments. I do not keep my egos into the picture. I keep my egos aside. I make sure I pay close attention to when something is happening, on the expression that is made, on the facial expressions, on the body language, and I respond to that way. If a person is getting emotional about that topic when the person is talking, you need not get emotional and start crying, but you need to also keep your body language mild at that point of time. You cannot sit straight, you know, that मुझे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा आप जो बोल. You also need to get a little softer. If a person is getting straight, he's very straight in what he's saying, you also have to give that straight position, saying that yes, we understand. Okay, so you empathize with the person. Now, empathizing means you keep your assumption doors closed. Okay, you keep your ego doors shut. You make sure you don't make any judgments. You just put yourself in what the person is saying and understand what he is saying, and automatically you feel like him or her. Okay, so you place yourself in the speaker's shoes and then listen. The third thing is do not interrupt. Now, you know, this is a very bad habit of people these days. They interrupt. Interruption is rude. It is really, really bad. Okay. Now, what I'm saying is, you know, as a human, when somebody interrupts into a very important discussion and the interruption is really absurd, is not to the point, okay, or just feels like he wants to interrupt because he just wants to make a point and take his stand somewhere, जबकि वो interruption टल सकता था, that point could have been made later. It just makes a person feel, or makes a person you know, वो सोचने पे मजबूर हो जाता है कि ये कहाँ से आया है. Your upbringing gets questioned, where are you coming from gets questioned. So very important, do not interrupt. It is very rude. Okay, so interruption means दखलंदाजी करना. Okay, I will try using Hindi words also. So don't interrupt means दखलंदाजी करना. So दखलंदाजी या बीच में बात को काटना is very rude. Now, just whenever you interrupt, okay, whenever you are cutting someone, okay, you know what do you portray? I am more smarter than you. I am more important than you are. I am not interested in your topic, or I don't care what you're saying. Listen to me. I am important. Or you know, you have a tough competition. मुझे भी पता है आप जो बोल रहे हो. Okay, that is what it interprets, and that interpretation is really bad. वो अच्छी चीज नहीं होती है, वो गलत मैसेज देती है. Okay, so when you're listening and you're not interrupting, you give a positive message. You give a message like, I value what you're saying, I respect who you are, because you're standing at the speaker's end, which means you are a dignitary, or you have achieved something in your life, and that is the reason you're standing there. Okay, I respect the time you are giving for me, so that I can listen to you, and I trust what you're saying. Not necessarily everything will be correct, but I do trust what you're saying. Okay, so do not interrupt. Do not use words which will cause disturbance to the speaker while talking. The next one, that is a stage 5, is be curious. Now, be curious means in order to understand. कई बार पता है हम जब कुछ बोलते हैं जरूरी नहीं हर चीज सामने वाले को समझ में आए. वो कैसे होगा? It comes from a place of curiosity. बच्चे होते हैं ना, हर चीज को देख के कहते हैं ये क्यों, why this, why not that. That is curious. सवाल पूछना. सवाल पूछने से हम क्या कहते हैं, अच्छा उसको हम जवाब दे देते हैं, उससे उसकी नॉलेज बढ़ रही है, उसके डाउट्स क्लियर हो रहे हैं. Exactly same thing. So when you are curious, when you ask questions, it tells a speaker, the confidence to the speaker, that सामने वाले बंदे ने मेरा सुना है. Okay, and that is a reason. That is a reason कि why are you talking now? I'm sorry, I cannot use 100% Hindi. I will be using a semi-Hindi, semi-English. So I'll be using a mix of both for you all to get clarity in what I'm talking. Okay. So now be curious. So I obviously, in order to understand everything, it comes from the place of curiosity. Now, so very often when we are listening, we're just growing up the reply. So हम पता है जब सुनते हैं हम सोचते हैं हम क्या जवाब देंगे. वो जिस दिन हमने सोच के सुनना शुरू कर दिया ना, उस दिन आपकी थिंकिंग खत्म होगी. उस दिन आप सुन ही नहीं सकते, आप कभी अच्छे लिसनर ही नहीं बन सकते. So to listen, you need to keep your mind open, keep your analytical brain shut. जजमेंट्स लेना बंद करो, अजम्पशंस बनाना बंद करो. आपको कोई डाउट है पूछो, अपने खुद के अजम्पशंस, अपनी खुद की स्टोरीज मत बनाओ. ओके, अंडरस्टैंड जो बोला जा रहा है. मेक श्योर दैट अगर आपको नहीं समझ रहा तो आप आके सामने से सही सवाल पूछो ताकि उसका जवाब भी आपको मिल सके. ओके, सो इट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि आप अपने जजमेंट्स, अपने अजम्पशंस, अपने चीजों को मत बोलो अपने तरीके से. यू नीड टू बी वेरी क्लियर. स्टॉप गेटिंग योर ईगोज इन बिटवीन. खुद की stories, don't pick up your own stories and start talking. Okay, you need to be you need to ask. If you feel there is a doubt in what he's saying, ask. You feel there is a question which can be asked because there's no clarity on the topic, ask. It is very important to ask questions than to make your own assumptions. So that becomes your stage 5. The minute you ask, it gives confidence to the speaker that you are talking or you are listening. The speaker will get more clarity in talking. Okay, you will become a good listener is because आपने अपने assumptions को लेना बंद कर दिया है. So automatically it will give a very positive message to your own body that I'm not cooking up my own story. I am genuinely saying something. Okay, so that is important. So 5 stages. First, we become a part of it by our own body language. Then we obviously take an active part, become an active listener by making sure that we understand what is being spoken. We give them a good body language. हम उनके feelings, उनके verbal and non-verbal दोनों language को समझते हैं. Third stage, we empathize. We place ourselves in the same situations and we understand it. We do not make our own assumptions. We do not make our own judgments. We only empathize and give them a retaliation with a positive body language. Then obviously we don't interrupt because interruption is rude. It will give a negative message. We do not want to portray that we are smart. We just want to portray that we value when somebody is talking to us. And finally, we ask questions. Because the minute we start asking questions, we have cancelled our assumptions, our judgments and egos, and we've obviously kept our analytical brain shut. Moving on from the stages, we understand what are the tips to become a good listener. The first tip is listening is a win-win situation. Win-win situation मतलब आप सुनोगे, आप भी 2 चीज नई सीखोगे, आप मुझे बोलने दोगे तो मैं भी आपकी चीजें सॉल्व कर पाऊंगी. So it becomes a win-win situation. मेरा भी काम हो जाएगा बोलने का, आपका भी काम सुनने से. आप 2 चीज ज्यादा ही सीख के जाओगे, कुछ गलत नहीं सीख के जाओगे कोई बोल रहा है कुछ तो. So it becomes a win-win situation. You obviously become, and when you listen to someone and you listen very keenly, you show interest, your relationship becomes stronger with that person. वो person को लगता है he is respecting me. So next time जो आप बोल रहे होगे ना, he will also listen to you. So it becomes a win-win situation. You need to obviously keep eye contacts, which I keep saying कि आंख में देखना जरूरी है. Eye contacts are not made by those people who lie. So जो झूठ बोलते हैं वो नजरें चुराते हैं. So if you are saying the right thing, if you are correct in what you're saying, please make sure you maintain your eye contacts. You keep your smartphones, your laptops, your tablets away because technology is a distraction when you're listening to someone. किसी का भी मैसेज आएगा, सीधी सी बात है, ध्यान तो एक बार जाएगा ही, फोन बजा दो। इससे अच्छा उसको थोड़ा साइलेंट पे डाल दो, साइड में रख दो और फिर किसी को सुनो। ओके, स्टॉप मेकिंग योर ओन अजम्पशंस, स्टॉप मेकिंग योर ओन जजमेंट्स, कि हम उसके बारे में खुद से सोचने लगे वो क्या है, हम उसके बारे में खुद से अपने अजम्पशंस बनाने लगे। इट्स नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट, प्लीज अवॉइड इट. It grow beyond assumptions and judgment making. Please understand, it's very important to know the person to make a judgment. हम स्टोरी सुन के उनके बारे में स्टोरीज नहीं बना सकते. Okay, then then you have, when you are listening, okay, you just listen. You do not at all interrupt. You do not snore. आप नींद नहीं आती वो वाली बिहेवियर मत दो. डोंट कम अप टू ओन कंक्लूजन्स कि उसने 2 लाइन बोली, अरे मुझे पता ही क्या बोलने वाला आगे. डोंट डू दैट. इफ अ पर्सन हैज कम टू टॉक टू यू, द पर्सन हैज गॉट सम इन्फॉर्मेशन, कुछ तो रिसर्च करके ही आया होगा वो आपसे बात करने के लिए. सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट डोंट इंटरप्ट. व्हेन यू आर लिसनिंग, जस्ट लिसन. यहाँ वहां ध्यान मत देना कि इसको भी देख लूं, उसको भी देख लूं, उसके कपड़े भी देख लूं, फोन भी चेक कर लूं. डोंट डू दैट. ओके, यू हैव टू बी ऑनेस्ट. ओके, बहुत सारी चीजें जो मुझे भी नहीं पता, बहुत सारी चीजें एज अ स्पीकर आई विल नॉट बी नोइंग. आई हैव माय ओन लिमिटेशंस. आई कैन नॉट हैव द एंटायर गूगल on my speech. So I need to be honest that there are few things I will not be able to cover in this topic because of whatever reasons, time constraint, maybe knowledge constraint. Understand that, and as a listener appreciate that कि okay, इनको नहीं पता होगा या टाइम कम था इसलिए नहीं बता पाए हमें, नेक्स्ट टाइम हम जरूर इनसे बात, या you come up with a question so then we can address. There are a lot of times I will miss out on some part when I'm talking to you. Does not mean that I don't want to share that information, but I felt वो आपको पता है, you already know that information. So if you feel you want me to talk about that or you want me to throw some light on that, then what you do is automatically you put up across a question to the speaker and let the speaker answer to you. Okay, now it is very important when you're listening. Okay, जब आपका टाइम आता है बात करने को, you share your own situations, you share your own experiences. उससे क्या होता है, lot of people connect together. Okay, there are some experiences which everybody has gone through in life. हम सब ने स्कूल के बाहर इमली, कैरी, गोला ये सब खाया होगा. Everybody has had that मस्ती. All of us have fell down. All of us have got hit by a car, maybe हल्के से एक्सीडेंट होते बच्चे. Some things are very common. Okay, the minute I tell you, you all will understand. And obviously, जब आप अपनी शेयर करोगे, the one time you share your talks to me, your experiences, it will keep building up the talks, and conversation two-way होते ही fun हो जाता है. Continuously मैं बोलती रहूं, continuously speaker बोलता रहे, the conversation becomes a monotonous and gets boring after a point of time. Okay, like I say, ask questions. Another important thing, you need to pay attention on the talk-listen ratio. बहुत important concept है ये. Talk to listen ratio. Talk to listen ratio means आपका listening ज़्यादा होना चाहिए, बोलना कम होना चाहिए. So the minute your talk is less and listen is more, your ratio will become less. Okay, छोटा हो जाएगा, which is good. So lesser the talk to listen ratio, better person you will become. Okay, better listener, which means आप सुन ज़्यादा रहे हो, बोल कम रहे हो. और जब आप सुनते ज़्यादा तो automatically आपकी understanding ज़्यादा हो जाती है. Then you obviously recognize the change in tone. Like I say, if I'm saying some important thing, my eyes will grow big. My words become, I ponder more on those words. If they're very small things, not important, I will just keep talking, So listen, understand speaker का tone of language क्या है. Understand speaker के eye contacts कैसे हैं. उनकी body language क्या होगी when the person is talking. Okay, very important. If you are talking, okay, now obviously after I finish, it's your turn to talk. Think before you respond. So think twice before you speak once. वो phrase बहुत important है, because जरूरी नहीं है हर बार अपने opinion दे, जरूरी नहीं हर बार आपका बोलना. कई बार सुन के हट जाना ही better रहता है, because सारी चीजें cover हो चुकी हैं. क्या जरूरत है अपनी हर जगह अपने बारे में बोलना, हर जगह एक point रखना. So it's important that you think before you respond. Very important to take notes. Okay, so specifically if you're sitting in a conference or sitting in a seminar, कोई meeting हो रही है, आपके seniors कुछ बोल रहे हैं, आप कोई guest speaker से मिलने सुनने जा रहे हो, take notes. First, you will not sleep in the entire conversation. Second, your brain will be active, you will be listening. एंड ऑटोमेटिकली आप सुन रहे हो तो आप पॉजिटिविटी दे रहे हो, आप सामने वाले को बॉडी लैंग्वेज वैसे पोर्ट्रे कर रहे हो. The last thing that is important is the things that you need to avoid. Few things very important which needs to be avoided. अगर आपने ये सब कर लिया तो you can never become a good listener. Okay. First, stop evaluating people or thinking about what people are saying. Okay. लोगों के ऊपर judgments निकालना बंद कर दो. It is not important that हम सुनते हैं जवाब देने के लिए, जरूरी नहीं होता. कई बार सुनना जरूरी होता है. Don't, the minute you listen, okay, with the concept that इसको तो मैं यही जवाब दूंगी इसके बाद, you know, that time you are gone, you cannot become a good listener. Not important. Sometimes आपको अपने कर्म, अपने deeds के through जवाब देना पड़ता है. You might be right, but you know you're forced to say that okay fine, just बस सुन लेते हैं, you know. How do you reward to that person? By your deeds, by the way you work. If you do correct things, automatically उसको जवाब मिल जाएगा. So it is important to stop making judgments. It is important to stop making assumptions. It is also important to keep your egos aside. Like I keep saying, analytical brain जो एक part of the brain है उसको high side में रख दो जो ज़्यादा सोचता है और फिर सुनो. So minute you start listening, you stop making assumptions. आप perceptions बनाना बंद कर दोगे, जवाब देने के लिए सुनना बंद कर दोगे. You are done. You will become a good listener. You know people. लेटर ऑन क्या होगा, लोग बोलते रहेंगे, दे विल अंडरस्टैंड कि यू नो ये जब सही रहती है तो चुप ही रहती है, मतलब इसने कुछ सही किया है. गलती करेगी तो बड़ा बड़ा बोलती रहेगी, यू नो. That does not mean people who talk lot are always wrong. Okay, please don't interpret that. But it is very important for us to keep our brains shut and not overthink. Okay, when a person is talking. उतना ही मैसेज लो जितना मैसेज दिया जा रहा है, उसमें अंदर की वर्ड्स को डिग करके मैसेज नहीं निकालना, जो स्ट्रेट वर्ड्स हैं उनके मैसेज लेना है. ओके. द नेक्स्ट थिंग इज फॉर्मुलेटिंग योर ओन ओपिनियन अबाउट व्हाट द अदर पर्सन सेड. एग्जैक्टली व्हाट आई सेड. मैंने आपको एक स्माइली भेजा, वो स्माइली था ब्लश वाला. Oh, is this person having a crush on me? जरूरी नहीं है. Blush सिर्फ उसी समय नहीं आता है. आप मेरी तारीफ भी करोगे तो भी I'll blush, no? लेकिन I'll feel nice, so that cheeks will grow red. Okay? So please do not make your own opinions about what the person is saying. उसके messages के meanings निकालना बंद करो. Stop getting meanings out of the words that the person is saying. Don't play with the words. I use this in my typical everyday conversation with people. You know, stop playing with words. इक्वल टू, सिमिलर, कॉन्ग्रुएंट एक ही चीज होती है. मैंने इक्वल टू बोला, तुमने कॉन्ग्रुएंट बोला, तुम अलग नहीं हो गए. You're saying the same thing, you're just using different words. So stop playing with words. Stop coming down to conclusions लोगों के words के ऊपर से. वर्ड्स के अंदर की स्टोरीज मत डिस्कवर करो. आप कोई स्टोरी राइटर नहीं हो. आपके पीछे बात हो रही है और आपको वो बात खत्म करनी है एक पॉइंट पे जाके. So there is no point in removing meanings out of those words or messages which is being communicated to you. Lastly, you have to wait for the other person to stop for you to talk, and you should also stop at some point of time for the other person to talk. दोनों conversation जरूरी है. अगर मैं आपसे बात कर रही हूँ फेस टू फेस, आधा घंटे तक मैं बोलती रहूँ वो सही नहीं होगा. Okay, I have to put a break to where I talk. Okay, क्योंकि वो ब्रेक इसलिए इम्पोर्टेंट है क्योंकि एक, मेरी भी सांस फूलेगी कंटिन्यूसली बोलते बोलते. सेकेंड, मैं चुप रहूंगी तो सामने वाला अपना कुछ बता पाएगा. ओके. एंड द सेकेंड पार्ट ऑफ इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर द पर्सन एज अ लिसनर टू ओनली टॉक व्हेन द स्पीकर इज शट. जब मैं बंद हो जाऊं तो आप बोलो. सो यू डोंट टॉक व्हेन आई टॉक, आई डोंट टॉक व्हेन यू टॉक. सिंपल कॉन्सेप्ट, यू नो. ये अगर आप रूल लेके चलोगे तो बीच में कोई ईगो क्लैश नहीं होगा. अरे उसने मेरी बात क्यों काटी, अरे वो तो मुझे सुन ही नहीं रही थी. नो, ऑल दोस थिंग्स विल नॉट कम अप. And automatically what will happen is you will feel positive, you will feel good, आपकी relationship strong हो जाएगी. You will come out of the frustration phase. आप neutral हो जाओगे एक दूसरे के लिए. You will also have breath, you know. आप भी as a not just a good speaker, you will also become good listener. So a listener and a speaker, two important concepts, very important when you're doing it together. Okay. So obviously, if I have to sum up the entire session, what we did today. लिसनिंग इज ऑब्वियसली टफ, सो इट्स एन आर्ट. आप ड्रॉइंग एक दिन में नहीं सीखते हो, आपको बहुत सारे स्टेजेस क्लियर करने पड़ते हैं. उसी तरह वन विल गेट बेटर लिसनर ग्रेजुअली. एक दिन में आप मेरा लेक्चर सुन के आप बहुत अच्छे लिसनर नहीं बन जाओगे, बट you will learn something. You will learn every time you're listening to someone, and gradually you will become a good listener. Okay, अपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंसेस, थॉट्स, अपने एक्सप्रेशंस, अपने इमोशंस, हर चीज को फिल्टर करो और फिर सुनो. जरूरी नहीं है हर चीज आपके साथ बीत चुकी है. कुछ लोग होते हैं हर चीज उनके साथ बीत चुकी है. It's not important. Sometimes you might have gone through a situation, similar situation, but automatically दोनों के outcomes, उसका outcome, आपका outcome अलग होगा. Okay, because circumstances were different. So you need to filter your thought process. Okay, remember when you are listening to understand. You are not listening to reply to the person. जवाब देने के लिए हम कभी नहीं सुनेंगे. हम सुनेंगे सिर्फ समझने के लिए. If required, we will talk after the conversation. If not required, we will make our work talk to that person later. Okay? I end my session with one phrase. God has given us one tongue, 2 ears. Which means we talk one time, we listen twice. हम double time सुनेंगे, हम कम बोलेंगे. That is how it has to be in actual life. इसीलिए एक ही जुबान, एक ही टंग दी है. God has not given us multiple tongues. Okay. Thank you. That completes my part of the talking. I will now look after what are the questions which have been come up by students. I've already answered how will you get active. You obviously become active by having a good verbal conversation. आपके words correct हो. You think when you're talking, and second, your body language is also correct. You need to maintain an eye contact. Your body language has to be positive. It has to be straight. It has to be sober. You need to make sure that you are not resilient. You're not sitting with the crossed hands, crossed legs over time. Okay, so that is how you become active. Vinay Pratap Singh has asked me a question. Is it necessary to shake your head when you're listening in a group? Now, okay, when you're listening in a group, इसके ना 2 parts होते हैं. When you're listening, अगर जो बोल रही है वो female है, okay, the speaker, the person who's talking is a female, so automatically you keep shaking your head. Because लड़कियों को वो चाहिए कि सामने वाला बताता रहे. Because उनको जल्दी लगता है ना, शायद उसको इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है, वो ज्यादा दिमाग पर चलाती है ना, correct? As you all say. So you need to keep moving your head when you're listening to a female. When you're listening to a male, don't keep moving your head all the time. You can just थोड़ा कभी आप nod कर सकते हो. So it's a female, you continuously nod your head at regular intervals. If it's a male, आप थोड़ा बहुत nod करते हो because उनको समझ में आ जाता है आप अगर नहीं nod करोगे तो भी कि आप सुन रहे हो कि नहीं सुन रहे हो. So that is how you take ahead with shaking your head. Any other questions? Last 5 minutes left. If anybody who wants me to put up a question, कोई word नहीं समझ में आया, they want me to repeat some process or something in the session. Alright, so that completes my session for the day. I see you all next time in this month again with another new interesting topic. Thank you and hope you become a good listener.